Just tell us a little bit about the mood, the mentality, and is there a positive energy around the club at the moment and the squad despite recent form?
Yeah, as positive as possible after our not so good results in the past. We had a longer week now. We had 2 games last weekend. One you saw, the other one you didn't. An internal one, but important one where a few players showed that they can be an option for this weekend, and important game for us. Then we were working during the week on a few things with a very motivated group, and yesterday watched a strong opponent, what we are facing on the weekend, with a good Conference League game, with a little bit of a different squad, what we have to expect on the weekend. A team in form, a team in self-confidence, and a team that we have been unbeaten last season is coming to us, and we have to show ourselves and show everybody that we are better than we have been in the last weeks.
You've lost your last 4 Premier League matches, scored just 1 goal. You've only won 3 out of your last 21 Premier League games. At what point do you have to draw on all of that experience you have in football to turn things around? And does this feel like a situation that's teetering for you personally, because it's just not going well at the moment?
It's for us teetering. I've never heard this, but it's good and interesting. Right.
On the edge of the situation, things could fall one way.
Yeah, this is like a Premier League situation for us was all the last 4 years since I'm here, and I very often speak about how margins are sometimes for winning a game and putting it on your side. And you're right. When I take our last home game against Everton, we were 1 up and then conceding 2 goals in 5 minutes or something like that, although we have the chance for a second goal. And these margins, absolutely right, you have to put on your side, and we have to show ourselves all together that we are able to do this and to bring this margins on our side to be successful again and to be able to win a game.
The fans are getting frustrated, understandably so. There's a real negativity around the place at the moment. With the project that Southampton are currently on, with the new faces, the young team that you have, do the fans need to show a little bit more patience with what you're doing?
I cannot speak about what you say here because I don't read all the social media stuff, maybe what you're reading. I can only speak about the atmosphere we had in the last home game. It was 90 minutes exactly how it should be to support our team, and I think they know very good that the only chance to come out and to be successful again is to stay together and to stand together. And this is what I had the feeling also in the away game against Man City. I didn't have the feeling that, although we couldn't give them a lot of pleasure moments, they were supporting us until the last minute. So I have never had a doubt that they know about our situation, and I think this is what makes them so special.
The fans have high expectations. Do they need to perhaps lower them at the moment for this moment and this team?
No, don't. We all want to have a team that is playing like we have shown very often in the last years, and we had always tough moments, but we had also moments where we could turn things around, and it's every year the same that we are fighting for being successful and with our qualities we have, and it's normal that we are also, we are since now more than 10 years, I think, part of the Premier League, and it's clear that fans want to see us higher up the table, and this is the goal we have.
Up next, West Ham. They had a tricky start to the campaign, but they've won 5 out of their last 6 matches in all competitions. How much does that change the dynamic for your game with them?
Yeah, I think they have in the beginning maybe not shown their full potential, what they show now. This is a team with a wider squad this season with more alternatives. They have to have it because of the Conference League they are playing again, a lot of games, find their rhythm now. With a lot of quality up front, in the back, everywhere. So for us, we need a absolutely good committed performance, and then scoring the goals in the right moments, what we have done last season against them, and this is what we need again.
What's the West Ham team use? Southampton team use for the West Ham game.
Yeah, I could. For us, as I told you, we have only Musa out with illness. he was not in the training the whole week, and the rest of the team. So apart from Romeo, who is maybe beginning next week with the team, and Tino, who still need a bit longer time, the rest is fit.
And then finally from me, could you just offer some clarity on a situation that's become a little bit muddled over the last few days with regards to Joe Shields? He came into the football club from Manchester City this summer. There has been an alleged approach from Chelsea for his services. There's been reports that he's been asked to stay away from the football club at the moment. Can you just make things clear for us?
Yeah, as clear as I can do it is that he was coming in August, leaving in October, and for us, absolutely not the perfect situation for him. I don't know. Sometimes people get driven from new chances, and we see this here more as a long-term project. And if somebody wants to leave in this short term, then he has maybe his reasons why he want to do this. It is not a big loss for this club, I think, because in the end, the impact he had in the 6 weeks was not the biggest, and for this, we are not in the situation that we now fall in depressions.
So it's unaffected in terms of your situation and the backroom team. You move on regardless. And
as I told you, he was coming in August. Nearly all the transfers have been done until that moment, and he was not the player or the person that brought a Romeo in, for example, or somebody like this. So for us, it was not. We would like to have people here for longer. This is for sure. Who decides not to be here for longer, it's better when he leaves immediately.
Thanks so much.
Has that been a distraction at all this week, or an annoyance that there has been lots of focus on that?
Not for me, because I don't have a lot of contact with him or touch with him, because the transfer window is over, and so it's not the moment to speak about transfers until next January.
The second game last weekend you mentioned, was that a squad game or was that against another team?
Against another Premier League team, and we did it because of some players need to have game time, and this was good.
And did you see everything you were hoping for in that game?
I think it was absolutely good that we could give these players a chance. They haven't played so much, and for us it was important that at the beginning of the season, and we are still in the beginning of the season, I think it's important to keep everybody on a high level and give everybody the same workload on the weekend. So also the players that have played against Man City a few minutes have the chance to play on Sunday, and this is also in interest of some other Premier League clubs, and this is good when you can do it.
The Napoli manager made an interesting point this week. He said that systems no longer exist in football. It's all about the space left by the opposition, so you must be quick to spot those spaces, know the moment to strike, and have the courage to start that move even when pressed. Do you go along with that?
Yeah, but if you want to play in the spaces or attack the spaces, you need to be in a, however you want to call it, shape or tactical lineup or whatever. I mean, every lineup gives you various options for having solutions in possession or pressing higher in the midfield or deeper. And that means, yes, absolutely, with the ball, this is the goal we have. I think all the Premier League clubs have the goal to find the spaces that you can play through and that you can stress the opponent. But I think one without the other to see it is, for me, a little bit too easy. I think it is then, in the end, you have to have a basic shape from where you are going. But if it's only the shape, if on a kickoff, and everything else is a development out of this, but something you have to find back in every moment of the game where the players know where they have to be.
You also mentioned about expecting, performances now, but you have transformed. Half of the squad has had turnover. You've let, 13 players go, 12 come in. how realistic is it to expect results straight away, to be higher up the table than you are just after 9 games? Are expectations realistic? How long should we, are we too impatient, I suppose is what I'm asking.
I think you have to have results immediately. I mean, therefore, you have the preseason to prepare for the games and to find out who is immediately able to help you on the pitch and that he has the quality for the Premier League. We speak about the toughest league in the world, and even if you perform well, then it's still not so easy for us to win games. And we have shown that we can win against Leicester and Chelsea. It's sure not the worst teams in the league, but it is not the only signal or statement you can send when you win 2 games, and then after this, after a not so bad start, then fall apart and cannot take a point from 4 games. And this is what hurts us in the moment, because definitely against Wolves and Everton was possible to get more than only a good performance. Finally, not enough.
I'm wary of looking too far ahead, but when you mentioned about pre-season, you're going to have a second sort of pre-season in the middle of this strange season, and presumably you're going to have 80, 85, maybe even 90% of your squad all together in that time, because not many will be going to the World Cup. So could this peculiar season be of bigger benefit to Southampton than perhaps other clubs who lose all of their players?
Yeah, it's in the moment not the time to think about that. Yes, we know we have this special season this time. Unfortunately, in the past, this was mostly our best performing time, to be honest. December was very often the month where we were coming in the rhythm and had the best games the whole season, to be honest, when I see the history in the last 3-4 years. So, but we all have to adapt to it and take the best out of it. Yes, for everybody it is a chance for a restart and for a break. And but at first we have a lot of games until that moment, so we have to concentrate and take points as quick as possible, and ideally on this weekend.
Just on from what Paul was saying about new players, are you any closer to knowing your best partnerships and stuff? Obviously, in the first 9 games, you find out about players and new players. Do you want a more settled side because you have to make changes for City, 6 for Everton? Do you need to get to a place where you know your best 11?
Yeah, the best 11 is the team that gives you the best chance for winning points, and we had this in the first 4, 5, 6 games. But then we lost it with some injuries and some changes we had to make, and since then we are still on the searching for the ideal squad. Absolutely agree. And this is not always a bad thing, because it gives other players a chance to step in and to show up. But ideally, you will take this chance and grab it. And then, it's a good moment for all the players they haven't played so far.
When we spoke after Manchester City, you said about we're not playing well with the ball at the moment as well as we can. What are those elements that you need to see this week that you didn't see last week with the ball? Is it the quicker transition forward? What is it?
I mean, when we are concentrating on our game with the ball, then at first we have to be clear that you have to get the ball. And against teams like West Ham, it's important that you are against the ball in a good shape, because they can definitely hurt you when you are not. What you do then is also clear. I mean, in the past we have had a little bit deeper ball wins against them and had the quality to hurt them, to set them on the back foot with some good speed up front. In the moment, I think we are a little bit different from the qualities in our squad. So we have to do it in a different way to still create chances. And this was the goal for the week, to find situations and to find automatism that we can create a deeper ball win in a good transition, and finally in creating something. But it's not easy. We know this. Against every team we have to do it. And when you see them yesterday, they were quite aggressive defending and a good organized team with a lot of individual quality. So you have to play well if you want to create something.
They've obviously spent a lot of money in the summer, 160 odd million. They also couldn't beat you over 3 games last season. What's how much harder is the challenge this time around than it was last season, based on their spending and your summer?
It seems in a moment that every challenge gets tougher this season, but yeah, this is also not surprising when you speak about investments from other clubs. But we had also new players bringing in, and maybe younger ones. They need a little bit more time and patience, but they get it from me for sure.
Just finally, from me, what Mark was talking about teetering was talking about the pressure on you individually as a manager. And I've talked to you after matches where you felt like the end was coming after the 9-0 Leicester particularly. You were very upset, obviously, and worried about your job. Four defeats in a row, 4 years into the job. How worried are you come Sunday that if you lose the game, your time at Southampton might end?
Not really 1 minute about to think about it. For me, this is not the way I plan my week and I plan the next week. As long as I'm here, I do the best to make us successful, and this is it costs you so much energy that there's no energy left for thinking about your question. But it's always nice when the Friday is coming and then I see you here sitting and asking me then these questions, because it's the first moment that I really think about it. And yeah, but that shows me that everything else what we do here has only one focus, and the focus is to make this team better and to win games. And you can be sure that this takes me enough energy.
You understand why I ask it? Because in the Premier League, it's hard, as you said, if you lose lots of games in a row, you're under pressure.
And not only in the Premier League, in any league and in any part of football, you need to have arguments, and arguments you only have that I can answer these questions. I need to have wins. In the moment, I don't have wins, so you are in the better position. But it is not a problem for me, because for me, the only goal is to see my team working hard and knowing that on the weekend we have a very, very important game for this club, for the fans. It's not about me. It's about winning points, coming in a better position in the table, and this is the only goal. I think we have done a very good job the last 4 years. Never been in a situation where we are under the line, never. And it's quite necessary now to win games because of this. Because otherwise, I think it is possible that we are below the line the first time since I don't know when.
Okay, second section for 10:30 this evening, Jacob.
Hi, Ralph.
Yeah.
Did you watch the beating game on Tuesday?
Not me, but you can be sure that some people from my staff have watched it.
Don Ballo and Jay Morgan have impressed recently. Is there a case that they could feature in the matchday squads?
I've seen the goals, I've seen the game, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. And as I said, always, they are young. We have a very young team, so it makes it harder for them to step in, because we have also young players up there. But we have as often as we are able to bring them to the squad, they are part of us. And in some moments we will see they have a chance to be in the team. Why not?
One of the more experienced players is Theo Walcott. He's been on the bench a number of times this season. He's yet to come on. What does he need to do to show you that he can make an impact?
Working like he has done in the last weeks, it was absolutely okay, and I'm sure that there will come the moment where he gets the chance to play.
And you said to me on Saturday that some of the aspects in your game, such as your possession, have regressed since last year. How disheartening is it as a coach to see that things aren't necessarily improving all the time, and instead they're going backwards?
Yeah, the hard thing is to find the triggers that we are coming back to our quality. Yeah? This is what have we done at that time, and it's not so easy to answer this. And sometimes it's very much about self-confidence. This is the reason why wins are so important in some moments, to create the belief and create the trust in your qualities. And every player has shown that he has this, or especially the players that have been here for longer have shown that they have the quality to compete in this league. And to build this during the week is the challenge you have, and you can be sure that we have a lot of thinking about what we can do to make them more comfortable, still not too selfish, trying to find a better position player, and finally then score the goal together.
I know you said he was only here for 6 weeks, but how much contact did you have with Joe Shields during that transfer window, or was dialogue mainly with the board?
No, with me not that much. I think than with the board. It's also normal. But in the end, a few times we have spoken to each other, and
Obviously, it's great news that Romeo might be coming back to training next week. But is the loss of Romeo bigger than you anticipated, or do you need the likes of Ibrahim Diallo and Maitland-Niles to step up?
That's a very good question, and I must say that I expected more from the guys they had to replace him, and that does not mean that we can the next 5 years cry about that Ori was going. So he was over 30, and it must be possible to replace him at one time. But he was a very important player for this club, and very often when a player leaves, then afterwards you see how important he was. What doesn't change my opinion that I had to give him the chance to do this after what he has done for this club. But maybe this was not the easiest decision for me to say yes to this change, because we know how important he was.
Okay, Mark, Ralph.
Well, hi Ralph. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Mohamed Salisu. We've spoken a lot about Omar Bella-Kotchap, obviously a little bit younger than him, playing in the same position, but how pleased have you been with Mohamed Salisu really stepping up this season, starting a lot of games and putting in some really good performances as well?
Yeah, like always, I think against the ball he's one of the best defenders in the league, for sure. With the ball he has definitely room to improve, and he knows this. He has had better games, and the interesting thing, as long as we didn't build up a lot, kicked it more long, he was even better, I think. As soon as we are starting building up, it was the mistake quote rate goes a little bit up. So this is something he has to work on. And but he did it in the past. There were times when he was confident, and then he showed how good he can be. And I expect him to step up there and getting better.
With his country on the international break as well. Do you think that added responsibility has helped him?
Yeah, he was very long not keen to play there, but now he wants to play there, and I think it is always something special to play for your country, and this is what should normally lift your self-confidence. Absolutely, we have seen it very often in players. They were going to the internationals and coming back, that they were grown with their confidence, and this is normally always a positive thing.
I mentioned Bella-Kotchap as well there. Obviously, him being so young, it makes Salisu almost seem like the more experienced one of the two. But you have to remember that Sally is obviously only 23 years old as well. So, do they learn from each other, or are you kind of treating them in a similar way? Or
yeah, you say it, we are still a very young group in the back, and you have to accept that there will be some more mistakes maybe from these lads, but in the end I think the potential is there to be a very, very good centre back in the future, and they have to learn from each other. They have to support each other in the way they defend on the front foot. I think both made steps forward. Amel can still be with his quality he has, 1 against 1, can be more brave in some moments, I think, because he's so quick. He can even if he has a situation where he's a little bit late, he has the chance to go back and to still clear the situation. So but I think both against the ball they have both their qualities, and this is good for us.
Last thing, Ralph, just on Mohamed Salisu, you mentioned last year after he played so well against Man City that a lot of expectation was put on him from outside. People were talking about him. Do you feel that towards the end of last season didn't help him in the way it made him nervous?
It seems so. It didn't help him. I'm never a friend of praising players too much in the medias, because this is only for one reason, that they get a little bit distracted and think about, I don't know, we are not big enough for them anymore. Whatever. I don't want to say that this happened with Sali, definitely not. But for me, it's always much better when we are a little bit below the radar and let them develop their game and let them develop or work on the weaknesses they still have as a young player. But it is hard, because in the Premier League you are always in the window. This is key. This is normal, and especially the English football culture is very often based on creating the stars and speaking about individuals. And yeah, this is what makes the Premier League special in some moments. Everybody wants to play here. Sometimes for us as a manager, it doesn't make our life easier, because we have to, especially young players, bring back on the ground, ground them a little bit in some moments. But that's why we're here for.
I want to talk about Romain Perraud, if I may. Obviously, a long injury at the end of last season and missed out on pre-season. And how much do you feel that has actually set him back this season?
He had no pre-season, what was never perfect for a player, but had enough time to come physically in a good shape. I think he is so far physically one of the better fullbacks. We have not so many options with the loss of Tino last year and couldn't really replace him in the summer. So we were hoping that he was coming back to his level, what he had. I think against the ball, I said, he's one of the better defenders we have. With the ball also there, room to improve. But this is not only for him, it's nearly for every player.
What things have you been trying to work on over the last sort of 14 months with the club? What specifically has he got better at since he joined?
His crosses, his final pass, his calmness with the ball to find the six, his passes in the red zone, everything what is with the ball can improve.
He was speaking to us a couple of weeks ago, and he obviously mentioned the competition now with Balaros, who's sort of 4 or 5, maybe 6 years younger than him. Is he something that's good with that young player? They work together well in the training field today?
I think it is always important for every player that he has something like a little bit pressure. And we have seen it with Kyle, as when Tino was there, how much he had to step up to play. And this is always helpful for every player, I think. And when you don't have it, then it's always the opposite. So that's the reason why we were happy that Juan was coming in. And it should be always a situation that pushes every player to the highest possible level.